take on the part about the trade itself. Am I disappointed? Not at all. Why? Because the 49ers don't have draft compensation. We were talking a little bit before the show. They just don't have draft compensation to acquire a player like Daron Payne. That's why it would have been a miracle and a great move if they pulled it off. The 49ers don't have a first or a second round pick in 2023. For those that ask, oh, well, they could have just traded a first round pick in 2024 or a second round pick in 2024. Well, from a league office perspective, that's not true. Let's talk about Washington and their GM. Their GM is probably on the hot seat over the next 2 years. Why?
Okay.
Because they continue to have high draft picks, and they, with those high draft picks, have not been able to really get results. And while they do have a good relationship with GM Martin Mayhew, who was a 49ers executive before, that probably prompted the talks. Mayhew understands that he needs to compile the best roster and he needs assets for himself. If they trade for a 2024 second round pick, he could get fired in the 2024 offseason and not be able to use that 2024 second round pick for himself. So
Wow.
they're looking for 2023 assets rather than 2024 assets. Hence why I'm sure they were not willing to part ways with Payne for anything less than a second round pick in compensation. Yeah, the 49ers could have traded a third and 2/5, but they're also looking at it for themselves. Daron Payne is going to get a contract extension this year by whatever team. He is on the last year of his deal, but this is his fifth year option. On top of that, the 49ers have guaranteed money, a $5 million cap hit to Javon Kinlaw next year, which is fully guaranteed. They also have Arik Armstead making upwards of $20 million next year and are going to pay Nick Bosa a fifth-year option next year, which likely adds on or some will be somewhere around that range when he gets his extension. So going to the future, you can't pay 3 members of your defensive line significant money. And so maybe that requires a trade for a guy like Arik Armstead. His dead cap hit this offseason is already over $20 million. Financially, it is a really complicated situation, which meant that the capital had to be good for the 49ers if they were going to make the move. That's why I'm not disappointed. But he's a great player. Daron Payne's a great player. 49ers would have definitely loved to have him.
He would have been a different